Well, today's stories, the three that we want to cover today, I think, are particularly interesting. The first one is Libra, right? So we have the Libra situation here, the Libra token that was launched on Radium on the Solana network on February 14th, yes, on Valentine's Day. And it was tweeted by President Milei, right? So you can imagine from Argentina. And so you can imagine that a bunch of people who missed out on Trump, who missed out on Melania. They're like, hey, I'm going to get on to the next one. Another president is out there. We're in the age of presidential meme coins, and let's just go ahead with the pump. And it pumped up. What was it? It pumped up to 2,000 something percent to like $5, and then immediately it was sniped by sophisticated traders apparently, and $100 million essentially of liquidity was drained from the token. Have you been
Yeah.
following this at all?
Charts aren't looking good on it, that's for sure. Yeah, if I've at least tried to look at price action, but it looked like a rug pull just at first glance.
Well, this is the like I mean, it's so classically well. Here's
I'm
the
not saying
interesting
I'm not
thing.
saying it is a rug pull, by the way.
That's
It's
right.
just it's forming the pattern.
Right. So let's see here. Actually, let me before can you let's see here. Okay. So basically, we had this big spike up, and then we have this move up. Now, what's been interesting about this token is that the president was involved, president of Argentina. It looked like the whole goal of it was to, in the libertarian spirit of Argentina and the big changes that they're making, that the idea is that this would be an injection of capital within the Argentina entrepreneurial space, and it would be a beacon to crypto investors and crypto entrepreneurs, and it's supposed to be this big flagship thing. That just immediately failed. It just on the day, within hours, within 4 hours, I think it dropped like 80 something percent
Right.
because there's these snipers that basically in crypto snipers essentially they buy it the token's very low, and at the when it's rising up they dump onto the market in order to make a lot of money. They call it sniping because they can do it sometimes within minutes, and then make just heaps and heaps of money. And this withdraws liquidity and price momentum from the asset.
Hmm.
What's interesting though is that there's an interview that came out with one of the facilitators of this token that started off with him sort of explaining that he had to withdraw that there's liquidity that's provided for the token. So whenever someone's creating a token, they could provide a certain floor of liquidity, and because there's such a big project, there was $100 million worth of liquidity, and this guy pulled it out of the market. He pulled out, so he's sitting on $100 million worth of USDC that could be injected back into the token, but he's not. And so he does this interview with Coffeezilla, this investigative reporter on
YouTube.
YouTube that
Hmm.
talks a lot about crypto, and he starts off by going, "Hey, this is not my fault. This is not my token. I'm just like a guy, a cog in the machine, and I'm just I'm just here trying to figure out what to do with this 100 million. I'm getting death threats, and people are saying you got to give me my money back, and the whole thing is a big fiasco." The problem is that when what's his name, Dave Portnoy, who was one of the main investors in this, he lost $5 million in the sniping. This guy gave him back $5 million from the liquidity. So people were like, "Well, then give me money.
Yeah.
Give me my
Right.
money." And he goes, "No, I can't do that. I can't do that." Meanwhile,
Only
the president
Portnoy. Yeah.
right. Meanwhile, the president of Argentina completely immediately distanced himself from the project, deleted the tweet, and didn't acknowledge it until recently when he did an interview, and he says, "Well, if you lost money, it's your fault. You're you know in a casino. That's what it is." And then that's basically what this guy was saying, that this is a whole casino and no meme coins are worth anything. They're all just scams, either short term or long term, whatever it is. It's just insiders always taking money from the people who come afterwards. Whew. So Solana, the meme coin network, has been plummeting.
I saw
I
that.
mean plummeting. It's down like I don't know 46% or whatever since the high,
It
and
seemed in line with the pullbacks we're seeing elsewhere in crypto, though.
well, so that's what I was thinking. Well, so in the entire meme coin space, we're getting a bunch of pullbacks.
Right.
Like
Ethereum
just massively.
too, like big pullback. Yeah.
That's right. The whole
Right.
Trump thing and Melania was like a 1-2 punch that people are like, oh my God. And then Libra on top of that, it's really been pulling, the meme coin market has been pulling back.
Mm-hmm.
And I didn't actually realize this because I try not to look at Solana because I don't want to, I don't like Solana, so I don't like to like have more information as to why I don't like Solana, so I don't get any hate. But I don't. And the volume on the Solana network has been dropping. I think it's down. What is it? I was looking over the numbers there. Yeah, Solana's decline started before the Libra situation, and it's down like millions in volume. Just a massive amount of volume has been pulled out of the Solana network. So it seems like the meme coin fever is slowing down. And so there's two potential trades here that I find interesting.
Okay.
One, Hayden, I forget what his name is, the facilitator who's sitting on $100 million of liquidity. His whole scheme is that, hey, instead of like going through this long protracted process of paying out people and finding out who was hurt and how to give money back to people or try to save the project, blah blah blah, what he wants to do is inject the entire 100 million back into the chart, which he says should bring the price of the chart back up to near the all-time highs, and then he's done. If people want to sell at that point, they can sell, they can leave, whatever it is. Which Coffeezilla tells them this is a terrible idea. So I just wanted to bring that up here real quick because I thought that was very, very interesting.
Doesn't sound like a very promising play, though. I mean, at what point did the snipers come in and try to pull back on price action that should be established by 100 million liquidity? If there's any additional attention on it, then there's more liquidity than 100 million that could appear on the markets just from people wanting to jump on the trend.
That's right.
And then how long does that trend last? This is my trouble with some of these launched meme coins. They're really hard to trade.
That's right. So that's essentially what Coffeezilla tries to tell him here. I'll just play it real quick. It's not too long.
The third option is inject all the money back into the chart. I did a calculation of how much money we have, and even with tons of sell pressure.
How much is it?
How much we could get it to?
No. How much money do y'all have sitting on the sidelines?
No. It's like like more or less 100 mil. Like right around there. And I guess there's fees too. So there's probably I don't know the number, but it's probably like 11 million or so in tokens and like 13 in fees. So let's say like 110-ish million, right, of cash, because tokens you can't inject back into a chart. If we injected all that back into a chart, it would get up to about 2.5-3 billion, right, which is about where the all-time high was, and at least gives it a chance. And I'm completely clean of that, right? Then there's like, you guys can say whatever you want. The money's back in the chart. And then people can say like, well, he bought the token before, blah, blah, blah. There's no world in which I'm buying this token. I want to get the fuck away from it. This has been a colossal nightmare for me.
Let me just pitch you because I feel very...
All right. And then he makes Coffeezilla makes the case here that you're announcing this. And so this doesn't stop anyone from sniping it again.
Right.
There's no, you're not saving anyone from anything. It's not fair. Everyone won't know that that's the case, that's what's happening. He goes, why not just do an analysis? It might take, a year or so, but do an analysis of the wallets. There are people favor the people who had lower amounts, give them their money back and the whole thing. And he goes, no. I'm getting death threats from people who are saying they want their millions back. And so I suspect he said he's going to give people 48 hours, or the Argentinian team under Malay 48 hours to get back to him in order to figure out what they want to do with this. But one way or another, this is what he wants to do. Now, if this does happen, then it's very exciting to be part of a trade where you get in at 18 cents.
Sure. Wait
for this pump, you set your limit orders, and if you're out, if you get in now and you lose whatever money you put inside and you're happy with that, fine. But if it jumps up and you scalp off some money there, hey, that might be pretty interesting. It's literally, catching a falling knife as more knives are falling. Like, it's almost certainly a fail, but I thought that was pretty interesting.
That is interesting. And it seems like even at launch, it was at $1.02. So even going from 18 cents to $1.02 would be pretty interesting. Is that what he meant by?
That's
I'm
right.
looking at the circulating supply. It's about a billion Libra total in supply. So that's what he meant by getting it back to a billion or two. Is
Yeah,
to take it
because
to a billion or two in market cap, or $1 or $2 in price.
well, he's implying that scaling in that 100 million would cause the price momentum to move to gap up
Right.
to those levels. The thing first of all, his interview with Coffeezilla and the one he did with Dave Portnoy.
Uh-huh.
If you need a cautionary tale for why not to get involved with meme coins, unless you
Sure.
have some edge, this is it.
Yeah.
I mean, it's pulling back the curtain. It's naming names. It's unbelievable. You're like, I cannot believe it. Portnoy was saying something like, through this whole process, he wanted to make sure this was not going to be a rug, and he's putting $5 million of his own money, and he wanted to make sure it's true, and it's the president of Malay, and how could this not be more secure?
Sure.
And and it turned out to be absolutely not the case. And he's just like, I don't get it. We tried to do everything right. And the guy basically said, well, there is nothing right you can do in the meme coin space. It's all a scam. You're just trying to scam the next guy. Even the people who are bought it at launch they don't think this is a long-term utility or whatever. They're just trying to go to the next guy. We were just smart enough to get in early.
Well, I think that argument has been made a lot in crypto, is that it's very much subject to the greater fool theory. But to the point of that you and I have agreed on over several episodes of this show, we're interested in the projects that are designed to last, right? Like, I think that's why you're such a fan of Cardano, and
right.
where you want to see the future success of crypto. I've been very interested in seeing cryptocurrencies start to showcase more fundamentals associated with them, so that we can actually start to find cryptos that are going to rise in value over time relative to the performance of the project or the stability of the project. So it doesn't have to be this way. I don't necessarily agree with his argument that it all is a scam. We just have to all agree on the qualities we're looking for in terms of the project, the way that they manage the project, the way it's governed, the way token supply works, the way that burns work. Like, all of that matters at the end of the day. And it can all be incredibly transparent. Those who want to speculate in price, they're going to continue to do so and provide liquidity to the market. But over the long run, we're hoping for projects that really last and contribute to the ecosystem, right?
Well, I think anything that's described or that self-describes himself as a meme coin, that by definition it's a scam.
Because it's probably a bad idea to say, hey, we're launching the Argentinian meme coin.
Right, exactly. Because at least Trump came out and said, even on the website, putting this out, have fun, like whatever. It turns into whatever it turns into. But in Argentina, the idea was that no, this is a step towards productivity and prosperity within our nation.
Not a great launch then, yeah.
Yet it's a meme coin.
Right.
No. I'm so sorry.
Can't be both.
Yeah, this is like the Enron token. Did you hear about the Enron token?
It's pretty good, actually.
Yeah.
It felt like the Onion launched a whole comedic coin,
So to me, because hype to me is there is no substance to it. I don't know if you feel the same way, but anything where there's a measure of not status, but literally hype, that what we're moving on is momentum, and that the next person, because they just recently found out about it, they're excited, and now it goes forward. I go, that to me is unsustainable, like by definition unsustainable, because your hype is automatically to go down and you're going to run out of people. So I don't get it. It's the same story all over again.
Well, that's the story that was told about Bitcoin early in 2011 when I first heard about it. But the difference now is that over 10 years later, we have something that's stable, that people are actually building on and people are transacting on. And I think that goes back to this point. Like, if you're going to do a launch, then make sure it's developed in a way that actually contributes to the space in a way that's meaningful and transparent and is governed well.
Well, with Bitcoin, you had the two things where there is no such thing as burn in Bitcoin.
Correct.
Whenever they're talking about burning these tokens, I go, well, that you're literally just manipulating it. That's true.
I'd prefer just a fixed supply that we eventually get to. I think that model makes more sense in my mind.
And Bitcoin didn't have any initially didn't have any hype to it. In fact, it was a chore to get it to get it moving.
Sure.
And the hype only actually started when the price performance was what's the word? Basically, I take out all the parabolic moves in Bitcoin that move up. I
Right.
don't consider that to be part of the Bitcoin like natural price. To me, it's wherever are the lows, wherever you pull back in on the lows of the cycle. That's where I go. That's what the price of Bitcoin should be, and everything
Sure.
else is guesswork.
Wherever overall supply shows up after a pullback, right?
That's exactly right.
Yeah, that makes sense.
But the meme coins, the whole thing is no, we want that parabolic move. I go, well, then if your parabolic move is supposed to start literally from launch, then you literally have no value to go on. Like nothing. Your fair value is $0.
Sure.
That's how we feel about these things. But I say that, and I'm going to launch.
Or I guess
a
from
meme
that
coin.
perspective, is Libra really just worth 18 cents? Because that's where it pulled back to here.
I mean, you look at that chart. How does that not go back down to zero? It's beyond me.
It'll be an interesting one to keep an eye on for sure.
Yeah. All right. So I just want to finish on touching on this idea of the Solana decline, because it's not just a decline in price, but the decline in volume. And there is this sentiment within the social media space of people are like, okay, enough. Like literally the top 3 meme coins. The whole reason why I'm here in the Solana network is to participate in the meme coins, and they're just rugging. Like presidents are rugging us. 2 presidents are rugging us in 3 months. Like enough with this, and people are starting to move off. And I worry that because we were saying in a previous episode, or I was making the pitch that maybe the meme coin, wherever that craze is, gives you an indication of what networks you should actually be paying attention to, like for long-term value. That would bring attention and adoption, and then you get stuff into DeFi and to other assets. But I think I might be wrong with the Solana network, because I keep trying to find these assets on these projects on the network that I go, oh my god, this is a killer. This is the thing that, like, you come for the meme coins, you stay for the phone. You come for the meme coins, you stay for the game, and I'm just not seeing it at all. So we'll see.
That's an interesting take. I mean, obviously the second order effect of how the Libra pullback affected Solana more so than some of the other cryptos in the altcoin realm is interesting to take away. I mean, the stability of the project is at risk, and if stability is a fundamental factor now, then it makes sense why it pulled back a little bit more.
Yeah. Just want to add there, Cardano. They just did a constitutional convention, and they released constitution. So now the entire Cardano network is governed by the token holders. There's no more founder anything. It's all done. And that was a long, nerdy, wonky process that took the last 7 years. And they've released that. There's no hype. It's just people working on this thing and doing their best in order to make this
transparency and governance.
Exactly. Mm-hmm. So I'm pretty happy about that. That's what I'm looking for. Okay. Before we move on to our last story, let's take a moment to shout out TradersPost, the automated trading platform designed to take the friction out of executing your strategies. Whether you're trading stocks, futures, or crypto, TradersPost connects seamlessly to your broker or exchange, giving you the flexibility to automate your trades without missing a beat. If you're tired of being the bottleneck in your own success, it's time to let automation do the heavy lifting. Head over to TradersPost.io and see how easy it is to streamline your trading. TradersPost, because your strategy deserves to run at full speed.